The Honourable Dr. Sharples.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker. Tēnā tātou katoa. I'm pleased to support the second reading of the Ngati Koroki Kahukura Claim Settlement Bill. In 1863, war broke out, resulting in the deaths of some of Ngati Koroki Kahukura and the capture of others, including their esteemed rangatira, Te Oriori. Despite their preference for peace, Ngati Koroki Kahukura were named rebels and for that had much of their land confiscated. But still, this iwi maintained their interests in their homeland, including, and I'll tell you the areas, from Karapiro along Pukekura Range and through Rotorangi and Puahue in the west, from Maunga Tautari 4 and 5 blocks to the top of the Lake Arapuni in the south. Then following the Waikato River back to Piarere in the east, and from Piarere to the south of the Maunga Kaua Reserve back to Karapiro in the north. Ko Maunga Tautari te Maunga ko Waikato te awa tipuna, ko Ngati Koroki Kahukura te iwi. Maunga Tautari was and remains their tipuna, their ancestral mountain, central to their identity. Yet in the 19th century, the land in and around the Maunga fell victim to Crown-imposed tenure reform. As a result, Ngati Koroki Kahukura was involved in more than 50 native land court hearings before 1901. Swamps and wetlands were drained and the Waikato River polluted. Hydroelectric power schemes depleted their traditional fisheries and flooded culturally significant sites. By the end of the 20th century, Ngati Koroki Kahukura had become virtually landless. However, Mr. Speaker, the history of Ngati Koroki Kahukura is yet another volume in the stories of this country that some of us know, yet many New Zealanders do not. Today, this bill seeks to rectify these and other wrongs imposed by the Crown on Ngati Koroki Kahukura. This bill records a history of Ngati Koroki Kahukura and the Crown apology to Ngati Koroki Kahukura for the operation of the native land and public works legislation, the failure of the Crown to protect the traditional tribal structures of Ngati Koroki Kahukura, the Crown's failure to recognise and provide for their relationship to Maunga Tautari and Waikato River, and the Crown policies and laws which led to the economic, social, environmental and cultural degradation of Ngati Koroki Kahukura and their physical and spiritual presence. So, Mr. Speaker, like the others, we have the third reading coming up, and I'll reserve most of my comments for that time. I'd just like to acknowledge that there has been reference by many people about that these histories are not known outside of the area, and I repeat what I said in an earlier paper, that we have now begun work with the government's education ministry, Tāhuhu, to set out a framework by which our histories can be provided from each hapu, each area, each rohe, and then put onto this framework and then put into schools. So all children will learn about their local marae, the history of it, the hapu, the movement in the past and so on. Battles that have taken place that are missing from the wall here, that were the big battles that really determined how Māori lived for a whole 100 years after that. And they're very important. So I'll stand in support of this bill today. Thank you.
Kia ora, Mr. Speaker.
Meka Whaitiri.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker.